Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up. Now today is the first of 2 October sowing videos, and I just want to take a couple of minutes first just to discuss a couple of things with you. Right now it's 8:30 in the morning and it's 8 degrees. Now we're in the territory there for sowing seeds where it's dodgy. Brassicas, anything from the Brassicaceae family you'll get away with, and maybe 1 or 2 others. But you've got to be cautious because the weather's on the turn, temperatures are dropping like a stone, temperatures will be much cooler overnight. I mean, it's 8 degrees now, it probably got down another degree or 2 overnight. So bear that in mind. If you're going to be sowing now, you need to be sowing undercover like in my polytunnels here, or for me, I'll be sowing here today and I'll be taking the trays home and putting them in my very slightly heated greenhouse in my back garden. So let's crack on. I just want to show you something else as well. So in here we've got some of the Japanese mustards. Both of these frilly things are Mizunas, and this is a Tatsoi. These were planted just a month ago, beginning of September, and you can see how battered these have been by pests. Okay, so that's something you've also got to bear in mind at this time of the year, is not only the weather conditions but the pests. And I actually think it's a bit more difficult at this time of the year to grow plants because of the pests, and they will tend to congregate in the warmer areas, i.e. your undercover growing spaces, polytunnels, greenhouses, cloches. So just be aware of that. Now in this bed, these were the last seeds I sowed outside, and there's a mix of radishes up there, some chard in the middle and some turnip. I won't be sowing outside direct in the ground anymore until coming on into next year. But I said a month ago that was good enough, and my last gasp really. Now I plant en masse through the winter because I know I'm going to lose a lot of plants, and everything and his wife will literally try to get in this tunnel and try to scoff everything, simply because nothing's growing outside and it's a free meal in here. So if you were to keep your ground in this order, i.e. no weeds coming through, and weeds will still grow through winter, then you'll be able to see. I mean, for instance, I know down the edges of the polytunnel through the winter I will find 1 or 2 holes, and that's mice getting in. Just consistently fill them up and stop the little blighters getting in, because they will eat your crops and they'll just chew at a stem and bang, there's your plant gone. And you'll lose them to mould and to cold. So I've got all these to go in as well yet, all these other plants and stuff coming up, tons of stuff to go in yet. But I'm still going to sow more seeds because I'm going to be eating them, the pests are going to be eating them, and they'll go fairly quickly. And once the cold gets at them as well and starts killing them, you know, having backups is for me what it's all about. Now I'm starting off with some trays of sieved compost. I use sieved all the time with seedlings because once a seedling gets this tiny little root out, and the roots could be only this long and go down into the soil, if they catch hold of something big and decent, they'll grab hold of it and go underneath it and around it. And when you come to prick the seedling out, you're pulling against that lump of whatever you've left in there. You break the roots and you're stopping the plant growing. So in here is sieved compost, and all I'm doing is I'm using 3 fingers just to make little furrows in the compost, which I'm going to sow my seed into. And then by using a seed label, I can put as many seeds as I want in there, and I could have 3 or 4 varieties in one little row there, meaning I can get a ton of seed going in just one little tray. So anyway, here's 1 or 2 earlier, true Blue Peter stuff, and I'm sowing some lettuce first. But the seeds at this time of year basically fall into 2 categories: those that I need and backups. These lettuce seeds are the ones that I need, because the lettuce that I've got, I don't know if you can see them just down there, just beyond the other side of this table, they won't last forever, and I'll want replacements for them at some stage, or again backups wherever else. It's always good to have too many rather than not enough. That one is Rouge that I've just sown there, and that's from Simpson's seeds. and they're very good. They're very similar to red Grenoble, which I've also got there. This one is Winter Density. It's a good solid winter lettuce, this. And this one is from Grow Seed. And with these seeds, I don't need that many plants really. 3 or 4 of each is enough for what we need. The next one here is lettuce Marvel of 4 Seasons. Many of you will have heard of this. It's a very popular one. And there is a ton of seed in this. There's about 7,000 seeds in this packet. So again, I'll just finish this row off with these. I'm going to probably put 30 or 40 seed in each little bit there. But that's all right. I'll just pick out the strongest ones and put them on into modules. And then this one, the last one, is Red Grenoble. And this has been patchy for me this year for germination. I mean, I bought the seed new earlier this year. Actually, I think I'll just sow straight from the packet. Bought the seed new this year, but I have a feeling there might be old seed because germination has been so erratic and awful. But there we go, such is life. So there's the first lot, 4 varieties of lettuce in 2 little rows there. So this next little lot are the sort of the Japanese mustards, or should we call them Asian greens? And the first couple I've got are Pak Choi, which is what I've planted just down here. And again, I'm going to oversow for how many I need. This first one is a Pak Choi green, and the next one is a Pak Choi red. Just means you've got a mix of colours on your plate when you've cooked them and you're eating them. I'll take a couple of plants up of each, scare them in a pan or steam them for not very long, and that makes a nice colourful side dish on your plate. Next up we have a couple of Mizunas. They're the frilly ones that I had outside, and this was a Mizuna, a green one. Again, going for variation in colour. Don't forget, people eat with their eyes. If something looks good, it will really taste good as well, so bear that in mind. If it looks good, you're 50% of the way there for a good meal. And this is a Mizuna Red. So you can see very quickly there, and with very little space, I'm sowing tons of seed. And this is a Tatsoi. This is also the one I showed you outside. The one there where it had been attacked by pests. Again, I'm just bulking. I'm putting so many plants in that they can't all be attacked and we get to eat some. And all I'll do with these is just cover them with a little bit of compost. Now this next little lot I've got a spinach here. This is a Spinach Mediana. Now it's normally more of a summer one, this. You can sow it all the way up until about the end of August, I think. But I'll give it a try, just see what happens. If you don't try, you'll never know. And I've never sown this one at this time of the year. The one I do rely on an awful lot is this one, Giant Winter. And I'm going to sow a whole row of this because we love the stuff. You get massive big leaves on it. It sort of spreads out as opposed to growing up. I'll do it straight from the packet again, if I can. I mean, you can see I'm putting a lot of seeds in here, but seeds are cheap, you know. I mean, that's about the 3rd year I've had that packet for, and it probably cost me no more than £1.50. Giant size packet. Look, and I've got enough for next winter. It's ridiculous, really. So don't be afraid to use lots of seeds, because if you don't get good germination, if you only get 20% germination, I'll still get plants out of that. So it's worthwhile doing. So seeds are so cheap these days if you go to the right places. And then the last one here is a Cultivated Rocket. Nice peppery plants, great to add to the salads. And incidentally, my spinach and rocket and another one, my Kommatsuna, all bolted when they shouldn't have done, because we got a sudden hot and dry spell here, and I was away for the day. 2 days later they'd all bolted because they hadn't been watered. So do keep your eye on your plants, and remember, through the winter when you've got cold and frost, you've generally got dry weather, so keep an eye on your watering. You don't want to soak them, but you do want to keep your plants and the soil that they're in moist. So that's what can encourage bolting. So the tray's nearly full now, a couple more I think, and this tray's done. So these last couple, this is the mustard Kommatsuna, the one I told you bolted. I did have it planted just down there, and I just took it out I think 2 days ago. So it was going to be no good to man the beast. So I'll do a whole row of this. We love this. We use it like a spinach. Great big long leaves like this. And this last one I'm sowing, this one is Broccoletta, Quarantino, Ricio, and it's the Raab that was featured in a video just a couple of days ago. 45-day crop, really quick. At this time of the year, I suspect it might be a little bit longer to crop, 60 days maybe. But even that, you know, that's remarkable from seed to eating in 2 months this time of year. So I'll just cover them with some compost. There we go. Now, I'm going to take these home and put them in my greenhouse simply because temperatures are dropping. As I said earlier, it's 8 degrees at the minute here. I suspect it's lower overnight. They're not perfect temperatures for germination, so I'll put them in my greenhouse at home where I know it's a bit warmer. Just until they've germinated, then I'll fetch them back down. There we go. Now, something that's often overlooked is slugs and snails. Now, I've just sown into one of these trays this morning, and when I pick a tray up to use it, I just pick it up, look around it, look all around the rim, and I just make sure that there's no little slugs or snails hiding on that tray before I grow my seedlings, because if you're growing little seedlings, in a few days they'll be up and the slug or snail has got dinner ready for it. You've provided it. So what I advise people who are new to gardening to do is the tray that they're going to use, just wash it. Now, I don't normally wash trays, and many gardeners who have been gardening for a few years don't bother. They'll just look at it or deal with the problem when it happens. But for new gardeners, I certainly would recommend that you check your pots and trays and the areas where you're going to leave them for those pests just before you start, just to give yourself a fighting chance. And especially at this time of year, pests are very prevalent, so just check them over, give them a wash, check all around the rims, any of the little holes, because even a tiny little slug will soon get big eating your seedlings. So just be careful and cautious. But that's it for today. I say this is just the first video of a couple of sowing videos I'm doing this month. Hopefully I have the next one out at the weekend, and we'll go from there. I just wanted to keep it a bit shorter, this video, and give as much information as I possibly can. Anyway, look after yourselves everyone, take care, please stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.